Bonjour les amis, vive le français. Today I want to tell you why, in my opinion, France is still a heaven. This is why. This is why France is still a heaven. So I have been spending most of my life abroad, a big part of my life abroad. Now, and I've been traveling to many places. Now, of course, abroad is a big word, and the world is very big. But the first thing that I have to say for France, and that's true for most of Europe, most of European countries, is the weather. The weather. I realized this. I went to the US. I am living in China. I went to many places. Then I realized the weather in France is amazing. Is amazing. You know. In many places, the weather will be so humid, so humid. Then it will be raining for several months. You have 3 months rain. Then it will be very, very cold. Then it will be very, very hot. You know, this is the worst that you can get in France. This is the worst that you can get. Today nobody is outside. It's very hot, but still it's bearable. I can still walk. I can still walk. I'm very hot. I need to drink. I can still walk. It's dry. I can still go out. In many places in China, I can tell you, you cannot go outside. You cannot go outside. Sometimes during the day, it's not possible. You cannot survive without air conditioning. Many places are very hard, so that's the weather. You know. The second thing is the environment, the trees, the landscape, the natural environment. You see, I'm here in the countryside. Look, you have the trees. You have the trees everywhere. You have the trees. You have the land. Okay. This is not the case. This is not the case everywhere. In many places, you have only the big cities, only the cities. There is no real countryside. Even when you go to the countryside, you have highways, you have construction everywhere, you have fields everywhere. In Asia, in China, you have rice. It's very humid. You cannot walk. The forest has been cut down. The forest that you have, you cannot get inside because maybe it's not safe. And that brings me to the third reason, is the mosquitoes. Many places have mosquitoes. You're just going outside for a walk, there will be so many mosquitoes around you. In France, you don't have mosquitoes. So all this is very, very important for the life quality. And then you have the air. The air in France is still rather clean. Okay, if you are in Paris, if you are in the big cities, you have now many, many, many cars, more and more cars, more and more people. So yes, it's starting to be worse and worse. And everything is getting worse and worse. Everywhere. No matter that you are in France or in China, or everywhere is starting to get worse. It's way worse than before. But still, you can breathe. The air quality is not so bad. Then there is the food and the water quality. For the water, France is very lucky. We have many mountains and many places where the water is so clean, so good. You can drink this bottled water. And if you live in the good place in France, because France is rather a big country, I think the biggest European countries, the biggest country in Europe, I think it's twice the size of the UK, you know, twice the size of the UK. So it's a big country. It's also bigger than Italy, bigger than Spain. You know, it's a big country. And you have some place where you have the mountains. You live there, you always have the clean water all the year long. And even if you don't live there, now it depends. Some place you need to be careful, but in many places the tap water is still rather clean. But you have to be careful. Or some place, if you are lucky, you can check and maybe you have the stream, the natural stream. So that's the water. The food quality is also rather good. Now people in France, they always want to have made in France product, because people start to realize made in France product is a much higher quality. I have more guarantee for my health. I know if I take the chicken from France, it's probably less injected, it's probably outside. If I take the meat from France, the meat is the animals are outside in the field. There is more guarantee over quality, there is more control, there is less corruption, everything is safer. Now it really depends, and when I say this, maybe if you compare France and Germany, okay, but if you compare with other countries, with China, with India, with with most of the world, I think France is better. There are probably some very good countries still. Maybe Chile. Chile is a very good country. Maybe Argentina. Regarding the, but then you have the other things. Then you have the safety. France is rather a safe country. You know, I can walk. Of course, it's also getting worse and worse. But people don't have guns here. Huh? Maybe you have some people who have guns, but it's not everyone who has the gun, huh? It's the exception. There was a little mouse here, I think. Where was it? Where is it? I saw the mouse or something, or whatever. Wanted to show it to you. Okay, you have some people who have guns for sure, but most people don't have guns. You see, this is part of the quality of life. But you need to be tall. I'm not tall enough to reach these delicious prune. I will take this one. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at these guys. You know. So now, and another thing that's also very important: the kid education. Most of us who have one kid or two kids, we have a family. So when you have a family, you need to consider what can I do, where can I send my kid to school. In France, no matter where you are, in many places in the countryside, you still have public school. It's free. Okay, you pay the tax, but you have the public school. It's not free, but it's not very expensive, and the quality of the education is still there. And you can be in the environment, in the countryside, in a nice place, and that's okay. And many places now you have to stay in the big city, otherwise you have no choice. In China, if you are not living in the big city, the education, the level will be very low. So there is no choice. You have no choice. Or also you have the possibility in France to do education à distance. You know, so you can study from home studies, which is also very good. What else do you have? You have also the cost of the housing. You have in France things are getting higher and higher, but you still have the possibility to buy housing here in the countryside, maybe at below 100,000 euro, 80,000 euro, maybe you can find. Now again, it always depends. If you are hardworking, you are able to do the things yourself, then that's fine. You will be able to go there and to repair. Even you can buy a very old house, or you can buy just a land and you build the home by yourself. Some people they do this in France. They just have the skills. They just buy the material and they build it themselves. I couldn't do it, but it's a lot of work. And you need the skills. I don't have the skills. But some people just do this. So they buy the land, which is very cheap, and then they just do this way. And then you have also possibility, as compared to many countries, even to buy the small land for yourself, the small forest, small thing. In many places you don't have this. And then you have a certain freedom. Okay, you have less and less freedom also in France, but at least you can express yourself. You can say, I like this, I don't like this. People are a little bit concerned about each other. So it depends where you are, but that's also good. That's also good. And then another thing that's very important: everybody can be French. You know, if you are black, if you are Asian, it doesn't matter. Most people are not going to look at you black. No, they will think, okay, he's a French guy. But then if you speak and they can listen to your accent and they say, oh, he doesn't speak French well, then they will really start to see, oh, he comes from here, or he's not a real French guy. And then that's why you need to speak French very well. If you speak French language very well, doesn't matter. Your look doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. The money doesn't matter so much. Many people don't like, if you come here, you have a big car, you have this. People are not going to be very nice. They are going to be normal with you. More people, it's likely that more people are going to be nice with you because they see you have a nice suit. But also some people, they will not care. No matter how you are or how rich you look like, they don't care. So all this, I think, France is really a heaven. It's still really a heaven. If you go abroad, if you are, you will notice this, except for these flies here. Okay, à bientôt les amis. I will see if it's good. Delicious. Really, really delicious. It's really delicious. Très très bon. Bon, à bientôt les amis.